today. I'm going to put on the exterminator costume. I'm going to get out the little spray, and I'm going to go try and solve this problem. And I think he did, because shortly after that, they played baseball. People were affected by some bees, but hey, they played today. Reds won. Good day for Cincinnati.
Well, way to go, Diedrich, and,
Dietrich.
I guess that's why you should always know what to do with a queen bee for a bee delay.
Have you seen any other crazy delays like that in sports?
Yeah, well, there was, of course, the famous Super Bowl one. What was it where the lights went out? The Saints versus Broncos? No. Who is it?
I don't
Saints
know.
versus who?
Was it Saints Broncos?
No, it wasn't Saints Broncos.
It was the onside kick game. Is that the game you're talking about?
Yeah,
Colts.
Saints
Colts.
where the lights went out, and it was like an hour and a half delay
Saints
or something
Colts.
like that.
Colts?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was the onside kick game.
Was that the same year as Deflategate?
I don't know. Now you're throwing me off.
No, never mind. That was a different year.
I remember
Yeah.
Candlestick had one game in Candlestick where the power went out. And then you got to think of the earthquake in the World Series. Oh, the funny ones is when it was. Oh, do you remember Miami, San Antonio when the heat, the air conditioning broke? There was no delay, but
right? They just went and played.
Yeah, they just
and
played.
And then also
and that was,
Spurs, they had to stop that one game because the bat was in there, and Manu just straight snatched it.
Isn't it funny that in golf you can just be having all these incidents? If there's just bees everywhere, they're like, all right, play it as it is. There's a gator, play it as it is.
If I was a golfer, I'd be like, no, that's not why I play. I'd be like, no, I'll drop it somewhere else.
I'm good. I don't want to play with that gator. I'm good. If there was a giant bird next to my ball, I would just be like, yeah, I'm good. It's like a crow, like a little crow. I'd be like, yeah, I'm good.
All right, I'm going to take this next one since I didn't really know too much about the bee. This next headline, Manchester United, they tied Huddersfield, this is basically, they tied Huddersfield to miss out on the Champions League. This is basically like, think about, it would be like the Celtics losing to the Suns to miss the playoffs. It would be like, how does this happen? It's like that they are the team you beat, and you don't beat them. And I think this is an interesting thing because Man U signed their coach. So they fired Jose Mourinho, hired a new temporary coach, and then signed him to a deal after he won 4 games in a row. And then the coach immediately started sucking and went out of the Champions League, dropped them down to 6th. Man U's in a bad situation. They still haven't moved on from Sir Alex Ferguson.
Well, that sucks for Man U. But that's great news for Huddle House. Waffle House has been real dominant this last 10 years, 20 years. But that's great for Huddle House. I didn't even know they were in England. Good news for Huddle House.
Yeah, I guess so.
Great advertising for them, too.
Are you taking the next one?
I guess. Is that it? Is that it for Huddle House?
Yeah.
The
timer went off.
Oh, I didn't hear the timer. All right, DeMarcus Cousins. He tore his quad earlier in the playoffs. He hopes to return to play in the playoffs. Matt, I'm going to take the lead on this. I don't think DeMarcus Cousins understands how tears and quads work. I think he's just like, no, yeah, I'll be good. It doesn't hurt that bad. And they're like, Draymond, you can't. Your quad is torn. He's like, quad schmod. I don't need no quad. You see me? I'm the greatest power forward to ever live. And they're like, Draymond, you played maybe 2 playoff games. Oh, I said Draymond. DeMarcus. I keep trying to say Draymond. DeMarcus, you can't do it. Torn quad. Boogie, what are you doing?
Yeah, it is. I didn't realize how confusing it is to have your two big men be people that complain way too much, and you know what I mean, and have names that starts with D. But yeah, so apparently he went through a workout that was semi-intensive, pretty intensive for where he is supposed to be at, and he says he hopes to make a cameo in the finals. Here's what I gotta say to Marcus Cousins. People say you can't do it because of quad. I'm saying you might not be able to do it because the Warriors might not be there.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know what's more important. DeMarcus's quad, Draymond's ego, or Steph hitting shots. Maybe it's KD. It's probably KD.
Steph missing dunks.
Missing
we
dunks.
will definitely talk about that later in the podcast.
All right. Whose turn is it?
Is it my turn?
I think it's your turn, yeah.
All right. So our sources have said that one team asked Daniel Jones to work out as a tight end, and we were discussing this. We kind of figured out the team, but this is what I got to say. How do we not know that one team wasn't the Giants? Maybe the Giants. They said they're all in on Eli last year. They're all in on Eli this year, too. Why would they quit on him now?
So, it could have been the Giants. First off, the Giants are really just playing into the mantra. If you have two quarterbacks, you have none. So, great move for them. They're like, oh, Daniel, you're just a tight end for the time being. You don't want to affect with Eli's ego. You don't want to make him nervous. Like, oh, Eli could get benched at any moment. Nah, that ain't playing. Giants are all in on Eli. Does this make TJ Hawkinson the second tight end off the board?
Yeah, that means he's not as important, right? He's not going to be Gronk anymore.
So that would make I feel like that would make the draft pick of TJ Hawkinson even better by like addition by subtraction. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah. Hey, we got him. He's the best tight end. We got him for second best.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Sources tell me though it was probably the Ravens that wanted to work him out at tight end. I'm not real positive on my sources,
at this point, I think what the Ravens are doing at this point is they're just like, let's have quarterbacks everywhere.
Lots of trick plays.
Jackson's going to be our running back. Hawkinson's going to be our tight end.
All right. Last one.
Okay.
I got
this one.
Yeah. All right. Channing Frye. Sunday, he threw out the first pitch at Progressive Field in Cleveland. He threw an abysmal pitch. It went way wide. Catcher couldn't even make a play on it. It almost hit the poor kids in the stands. Channing Frye was even out talking to the reporters saying, oh, yeah, I've seen all those worse pitches. 50 Cent, he took too long in his windup. And then he was talking about all the other ones. Like, that ain't going to happen to me. It was abysmal. Terrible. Matt, what would you do to avoid the first pitch conflict?
Yeah, so I think that Channing Frye, because you can go either way. Channing Frye was trying too hard. He was trying to study too much. You can't do that. If you do that, you're going to mess up. If you're too nervous, you're also going to mess up. You got to stay in that middle lane. You just got to go out there and say, hey, I'm just going to throw it. Just like playing catch with dad. But you know what I would do if I was throwing the first pitch?
What?
I'd contact someone who knows how to throw a first pitch. That's W. You contact W. What tips you got for me? What can you tell me? So that's what I would do.
First off, I think W wouldn't make excuses on his Twitter. You want me to read Channing Frye's Twitter excuses?
I do want to hear this.
All right, so there's 3. The first one, the mound was uneven. So first off, the grounds crew that's working their ass off all year, professional grounds crew, it's just an uneven mound.
They're just like, come on, man. We know it wasn't.
Number 2, now that it's over, thanks to the Indians for having me out. Even though the jersey was way too small and it hindered my ridiculous fastball, I had a great time.
Yeah, I do like starting to get here where you just start to blame everything. What's the other one?
I think the jersey thing could be that's a good one to sit on because he's a big dude, 6'8", 6'10", NBA player. Obviously, it's gonna be hard to find a baseball jersey.
Range of motion. The only difference is how many every pitcher is at least 6'3".
I know, but I mean he's got a weird frame. Come on, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. Last one, it was greased. I'm assuming he's talking about the baseball. I have no idea. Anything could have been greased. Maybe the microphone he was using earlier, so he had grease on his hand.
His socks were greased.
Maybe
it was just so uncomfortable.
Maybe they gave him a hat. He went to put pine tar from his hat onto the ball, but it was actually grease.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, so I think this is definitely one of the things where it's like he's doing the right thing, where you just start blaming everything. Oh man, there's a dog barking. The sun was in my eyes. Oh, you try to. I was thinking about Game of Thrones last night. I'm sorry about this. All of it.
I agree. Just it's not your fault. It's never your fault.
Yeah, it's not your fault until you admit it is.
All right, that was No Huddle headlines. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it for me.
Cool, that's it for me.
Hey there, Mikey. We are going to talk about the NBA playoffs that is currently going on. We're dealing with the second round, and I got to tell you, I like every single one of these. I think all of them have been exciting. None of them have been too terribly uneven. I think the most uneven one is the Boston Bucks one, but we'll talk about that. Let's start, though, with the game that just finished. The Warriors-Rockets. Rockets even up the series, and James Harden... Was this the best game he's had this playoffs? I know he scored 41 last night, but I think this was the best game he had this playoffs. He was doing the step back threes. He was getting into the lane to start. There's only one thing I could really kind of nitpick him on was I felt like a lot of the time he was trying to be the facilitator and make that pass, but it's like if you have a step on your guy, don't pass it out to Amon Shumpert. He's not going to make that three. I mean, he made a couple, but it's don't pass it out to Amon Shumpert.
Game 3, Amon Shumpert was huge.
Well, I'm just saying, he had a lot of passes out to Amon Shumpert. He had a couple passes out to, they were the right plays, but it was also like, you have your guy beat. Take it to the rack. Finish. I thought he was being slightly passive. Other than that, he was incredible. That's a very small thing. I think this is his best game this playoffs.
He played amazingly. I want to say, this is the problem with the Rockets. We were talking about this earlier. I'm going to go right into it. It's Chris Paul.
Right.
Chris Paul's the problem with the Rockets. Chris Paul he's washed up. He's done. He can't play. He's not the guy they need. They need another superstar. I wouldn't even say a superstar. I would say all-star. Chris Paul is not that right now. You need a guy that's going to be consistent. He's going to give you 20 to 25 points. He's either an assist or rebounds guy. You need that guy. You need this guy. And Chris Paul, he hasn't been that this year. He hasn't been this year. And he probably hasn't been that in the last 2 years. And no one wants to talk about it because everyone loves Chris Paul. Chris Paul is one of the more beloved figures in basketball. He has the State Farm commercials. He's just a good guy. He doesn't get underneath anyone's skins. He's not. He's been bad. He's been very bad, and I don't think people are talking about it. Chris Paul is supposed to be your guy. You're supposed to be able to rely on him. He's a great point guard. He's supposed to be able to pass the ball, which he hasn't done at all this whole year. This whole series. Let's talk about the series. He hasn't passed the ball at all the whole series. He hasn't shot the ball very well the whole series. His defense has been mediocre at best. He's just... Chris Paul's a great player. And then everyone loves Chris Paul. That's kind of what frustrates me even more. So they just take his back. They're like, oh, but he's a banana boat boy. He's so good. He's one of the greatest. He's never done shit. He's never accomplished anything. He's holding his team back. He's holding the team back. They may have won the series if he wasn't doing this.
All right, I'm going to counter that. I don't think... he hasn't been shooting it well. I agree with that. The past 2 games they've won, he's led the team in assists. And I understand that doesn't really tell the whole story.
He had 5 assists. He had 5 assists. He had 10 assists the first 2 games. 5 assists per game.
He had 5 assists this past game, 7 assists the game before. Each time they've won...
That's not what you need from your point guard. That's not what you can get from a point guard.
But what I think that he does so well is he controls it. He controls the game. That's what Chris Paul has always done. That's why they talk about him in regards as he often doesn't have too many bad turnovers, and he knows how to keep the ball. I think I only saw 1 turnover, which is when they had him trapped in the corner, where I was like, oh, wow, that was a really bad move by Chris Paul. He should have held it, gotten a timeout. But I can understand why he did that. I agree. I think this is more the case of he's 34 and doesn't have knees, and his knees suck, and he's 6 feet tall. He's just it's at a certain point where you're going to slow down athletically, and it's hard to defend people. I mean, it's really hard for him to defend people, but I think what he does well. I think what they're hoping is Eric Gordon is going to be that player, which he has been, or Clint Capella, based on the matchup, is going to be that player. That second guy that puts up 20-something. Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, but he's supposed to be your superstar. This guy is your second superstar behind James Harden. He's your second superstar. He's not a superstar. He's not even an all-star at this point.
No,
that's the problem I have.
Agree, yeah.
That's the problem I have.
He's not an all-star in the deepest position in the NBA, but yeah.
He's not an all-star. Yeah, you said the deepest position in the NBA. He's not an all-star in any position.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it's not like he can be a shooting guard. You know?
No. I'm saying if he had the talent in the same position in every, he's not an all-star.
I kind of see what you're saying. I still think he is right now. He's a plus to the team because
he's not. I know, but they're paying him.
he
They're paying him max
gives-
money.
He gives James Harden. Oh yeah, for the money they paid him, no, it's not. But here's the thing: for the money they paid him, it doesn't matter if they win a chip. It doesn't matter.
It does 100%. What do you mean it doesn't matter?
I'm saying, if they win the championship, the money